The most frequently asked question in the Like a Bear group is, what can I put in my coffee? Because apparently we are willing to give up eating for long periods of time and fast and give up carbs when we do eat, but we are not willing to give up our coffee.
I'm Jackie, here to answer questions about my journey from fat weakened sick to trim, strong, and healthy.
The best answer, unfortunately, is to put coffee in your coffee. Very few of us need the extra calories of adding a bunch of cream or whatever. If you can do a single tablespoon of heavy cream, that's good. I cannot do a single tablespoon of heavy cream. What I discovered when I began fasting was that I can do over a quart of heavy cream a week, which is over 3,000 calories. Granted, it is almost entirely fat and therefore will have extremely limited effect on either my insulin or stopping autophagy, but it will have quite an effect on weight loss if I'm eating a pound of fat every week, or just drinking and not even eating it. So that was a bit much for me. I did start that way, and I did have huge gains in my health while I was doing that. But I did rapidly decide that I really didn't want all my calories and coffee. I'd rather eat when I ate. So what I ended up switching to was MCT oil. I recently realized that what I mean by MCT oil is not necessarily what other people mean by it. I use this product, which I'll link to below, which has a scoop, and a scoop of this, I don't have a scoop in this container, a scoop of this is 70 calories. Don't know if anybody can see the 70 calories there. The scoop is way more than you need. I use a teaspoon of it, it's more like around 20 calories. That is way better. Another option that a lot of the people use are a product called Nut Pods, which is a coconut-based product, and it is also a very low-calorie product. I tried 2 flavors of Nut Pods. I didn't like them. And I have to be honest, I'm not real thrilled with MCT oil. The MCT oil is not yummy like heavy whipping cream. It is, however, not an extra pound of fat every week. So it lightens and it cuts through the bitterness, because I just can't do black. So that's all good. And I don't overuse it the way I do heavy whipping cream. So for me, it is a good solution. In terms of sweeteners, I use stevia. I use a plain stevia that's just stevia powder. It doesn't have erythritol or whatever in it. There is some controversy about both artificial and natural sweeteners that are other than sugar. We know sugar is out. And honey and maple. It doesn't matter if it's natural sugar. Sugar is sugar, and if you're diabetic, sugar is not good for you. Agave, all of the natural ones. The most commonly used and most popular are stevia and monk fruit. A lot of people use these in mixes with like erythritol. I personally dislike the taste of erythritol. The cooling effect is not something for me. Those are things I would recommend. There are also people who will use aspartame or sucralose or the more unnatural sweeteners, and there's some controversy about that because some people are very, very against them, and I'm a little relaxed about that. I mostly use stevia, but if I'm out somewhere having a cup of coffee and they have another sweetener, I will use it because it's there. The main issue you want to avoid in sweeteners is a whole bunch of maltodextrin, which they often add to bulk a sweetener up. And that is a carb. They're not counting it. And some of those little packets of various sweeteners actually have dextrose, which is just point blank sugar. So you don't want to use those. But find what you can to make your coffee edible, because coffee is life. Or at least that's what we addicts think. And you can take my food and you can take my carbs. You cannot take my coffee.